Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Andrew Moran, Sarah Cowgill, Kelly Ballard, and Graham Noble. And this is the Conservative 5, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Inflation is too high, wages are stunted, our purchasing power has eroded considerably, and if you need a loan to survive, well, your great-grandkids will still be paying it off. Americans are just getting poorer by the hour. Real wage growth has been -0 for 90% of Biden's presidency, and prices for just about everything have risen sharply. How much longer can we keep treading these waters? Kelly, you wrote a story about it, and we're going to go to you, but we're going to start with our economics guru, Andrew. What can we expect? This is really getting bad, Andrew.
Before I go into the misery of it all, I'd like to say that I'd like to tell our audience that Kelly Ballard is replacing me as the economics correspondent. Great work on the econ front. So congratulations.
Never.
She did a great job on that.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good article.
Okay,
But
so
I had to have about 5 drinks to calm down. I couldn't get my brain straight after that. So no.
So I'll allow Kelly to go into the nitty-gritty of what she's been reporting on as of late. But the problem of inflation itself is not going away. As the latest numbers show, inflation is coming down at a snail's pace. It's so entrenched. There's so much underlying price pressures occurring throughout the economy. And I think what's typically lost in the political discussion surrounding inflation is that the cost of living is not improving. So the CPI eased below 5% in April from the peak of 9.1% last summer. But all this means that the disinflation trend shows that the prices are still generally rising, but just rising at a slower pace. Even former Fed Chair Alan Greenspan acknowledged this. You still have food price at 8%. You have services inflation at 7%. The recent personal consumption expenditures price index, which is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, that shows that there's actually a reacceleration in goods inflation too. Because when you saw during the pandemic, there was a shift where there was the rampant goods inflation, then it went to services inflation. Now it's back to concerns that goods inflation is reaccelerating. So overall, the cost of living is not improving. As you said in your opening, wage growth has been absolutely negative for 92% of Joe Biden's presidency. So people's wages are not keeping up. Pandemic era savings are being wiped out, especially among the low income households. So overall, it's hard to show how Biden could tout an economic record in 2024. And typically that would be great for the Republicans because how poor it is. But as we see in the poll, not yet.
Kelly, what did you find in your research? Was it pretty much what Andrew was saying? And what are some specifics, about how people are getting poor in the United States?
Well, there was a survey recently, and it was nearly 90 million people responded that they were somewhat or struggling very difficult, struggling, trying to make ends meet. Bank of America has talked about, I think it's been a 33% increase in people taking out of their 401k just to make ends meet. And
but their 401k is worth less now, right?
So yeah, they're hitting their retirement, trying to survive. What's going to happen in a few years from now when they need that retirement? If everything's going to continue the way it is, prices go up, wages are not.
If you want to go to mention about savings has declined, but also you can't blame people for not saving enough for 2 reasons. One, the cost of living is too high. Their wages are being eaten away by the inflation. 2 is that their purchasing power of those savings are constantly eroded. Sure, you may get, if you're, let's say, a major bank and you're getting 0.1% on your rate of return of your savings, that's absolutely pittance. You are seeing a shift going on throughout the banking system because of what's happened with Silicon Valley Bank and the like. But overall, people's savings are being absolutely destroyed by how high inflation is.
Yeah, and the banks were trying to say, that the people are saving more, or they were during the pandemic because they couldn't get out and spend as much. But I don't know. For me, it cost me more because I had to have things delivered. So,
Sarah, you are in the center of the country. What's it like there?
Oh, it's finally gotten untenable. I know, there's some serious farm wealth around here, and things have gone up so bad, people aren't going out to eat anymore. nobody's keeping up with what they used to do. 2 years ago, or just a little bit before the pandemic, money was flowing. People were really happy, going out all the time. Bars have shuttered. They've barely stayed open. They've had to readjust how they market and how they operate. A lot of places are just now booze only, no food, and the food places are really very, very hard to stay afloat.
Well, and then there's the problem with service. I mean, one waitress for 72 tables.
Yep, nobody wants to work because they can make more money off the government, or they'll tell I was talking to a manufacturer last night, and he said, he goes, I get thousands of applications come across my desk for work in the sawmill. And he said, and they all say, I can't work more than that, or I won't get my benefits. It's like,
oh, geez.
I have a question about Sarah. When you talk about restaurants and bars, are they selling, because you say they're only selling booze, are they selling Bud Light? Do you know if that's
well, that's dropped quite often, in the middle of the country. The good news is people they put up their vegetables, they garden, they have chickens, and that $12 a dozen egg thing is, in the store you might run into that problem, in the chain stores, but you can walk down the street and go, can I have 2 dozen eggs, and you'll pay $6, so.
Graham, what's happening down in your neck of the woods? Do you see, are there effects and fallout from this economy?
Well, here, kind of down where I live here in South Mississippi, it's of course the wages are generally lower than the kind of medium wage across the country, but also the cost of living is a lot lower than the average across the country. So I have noticed that. I mean, here there's a lot of there's a lot of bars and restaurants here that have closed down or keep changing hands. What somebody mentioned there about staffing is one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the businesses here, they really struggling to get people to work. I mean, even when you go in the grocery store down here, there's, you've got kind of maybe 10 or 12 checkout lanes and never more than 2 of them are open.
And
I'm assuming that's because they can't get the staff, but I don't know. Otherwise, like I said, it's fairly cheap to live here. So it from what I know, the people that I kind of hang around with, they're not. I mean, everyone is kind of acknowledging the fact that things are getting pretty tight, but down here, people are still going out to the bars. They're still kind of enjoying themselves, but certainly the labor issue is the thing that I've noticed most down here.
Yeah, we have
just alcohol places don't suffer that much because people are depressed and tired, and they're going to go to the pub and have a drink. They will not go up the street and have a $12 bologna sandwich, but they'll have a drink.
Well, we go to the local pub once a week with our kids, and what we've noticed is every week it's a new waitress in training.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they can't keep the help, and I'm thinking that has something to do with the wages as well. Anyway, we all feel the negative effects of Biden administration policies. Just try buying a car. We'll keep you in the loop when it looks like there is going to be change for the better on the horizon. Thanks, panel. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, surf on over to libertynation.com. I'm Lisa K. Donner, Editor-in-Chief. Thanks for tuning in today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, where truth matters.